welcome. My name is Rebecca McNamara. I'm the Francis Young Tang 61 Associate Curator at the Tang Museum at Skidmore College and a board member of Service Design Association. And I'm so pleased to welcome you here this afternoon for what I am certain will be an energizing conversation with artist Francelise Dawkins. This talk and all Textile Talks webinars are brought to you by the International Quilt Museum, Quilt Alliance, Studio Art Quilt Associates, and Service Design Association. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping announcements. This is a webinar, so your screens and mics are not active or showing. Please ask questions. I'll moderate a Q&A with the artist at the end of the presentation. Please submit questions in the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen. We are honored to bring you free and inspiring Textile Talks programming. We respectfully ask you to be courteous as you engage with speakers, moderators, and other participants. Please note that your chat comments can be seen by everyone. You can use the Q&A for questions, the chat box for greeting others, and the survey for commentary or ways we can improve. If you prefer not to see notifications from the chat, you can click on the chat button to toggle them on or off. Jennifer from Studio Art Quilt Associates is behind the scenes assisting with tech, and so you can chat with her for any tech questions you might have. Okay, so now I will start the presentation and give you a little background. Okay, hopefully you can all see my screen. So before I turn the mic over to Francelise, I wanted to introduce her work and an exhibition that she's included in right now at the Tang Museum, which is free and open to the public all year round. For anyone who might be coming through upstate New York, please do visit us. This is a view of the exhibition Up to Us, Black Dimensions in Art, 1975 to Tomorrow. The exhibition, which opened in May and will run through November 2nd, celebrates 50 years of the second Black arts collective founded in New York State, Black Dimensions in Art, or BDA, which is an organization very much still active today. BDA was founded at the tail end of the Black arts movement and continues to be active in making exhibitions, running youth programs, and supporting artists of the African diaspora throughout the region. Astonishingly, they have exhibited the work of nearly 400 artists from across the African diaspora over the last 50 years. And this exhibition celebrates that triumph and their ongoing work through archival material, oral histories, and art. This wall demonstrates the diversity of artists, styles, materials, genres, and techniques that exist within BDA, and you can see Francelise's work at the lower left. Here is a photograph of some of the current BDA members taken in the style of Art Kane's famous 1968 photo, A Great Day in Harlem. Here, BDA members staged A Great Day in Albany on the stoop outside of the Underground Railroad Museum in 2023. It is an arts collective and a community, and as I've heard some members call it, a family of multiple generations. I had known Francelise's work a little bit before embarking on curating that BDI exhibition because she is an incredibly active artist in this region. And so it was really fun as I was going through the archival material in preparation for the show to come across this 1993 exhibition material, one of several that featured her work throughout BDA's history. And so when making artist selections, I knew that she had to be included. And you can see in this brochure the term silk collages, which Francelise coined to describe her unique style of working. And this is the artwork that's included in the show. It's called Exposed Belonging, which I had seen only in progress at the studio last spring and which was completed just in time for the exhibition, which was very excited to be showing it for the first time. And I'm hoping we'll hear more about this work in particular because I know it has a wonderful story behind it. And so with that, Francelise, I'll turn the mic over to you and perhaps you can start the conversation by sharing a bit about your background and how you came to be an artist working with textiles. And please just let me know as you want me to move those slides along.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the Tang for inviting me because I'm really enjoying this. So I was born in France, in Paris, France. And my mother was a prodigy seamstress, and she became, when she moved from the Caribbean island, the French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe. When she moved to Paris, I was not born yet, she became a costume designer and a dancer. It was the fashion for Cuban dances at that time in cabarets. Cabarets were different feeling than what you have now. But it's how I was sensitized to fabric, to colors, because she was using a lot of silks, a lot of very, very colorful costumes. And then snippets, pieces of fabric, thread, little shiny little particles, whatever would fall on the ground. And I would start creating that way. So that's how it started for me. And what is interesting also is that I was born in Paris, France, and at that time, at the very beginning, we were living in the 18th district, place for artists, right between the Red District and the Basilica of Montmartre. So we were living on the sixth floor where Auguste Renoir had lived too. So I didn't know this. I discovered that after, but I could see why now I had all this taste for creating. I spent many years in my youth in a boarding house for children of artists because my mother was traveling a lot. So I was put there, and it was in an interesting place from the point of view that we were open to a lot of artists would come. This place had been sponsored in the, early end of 19th century by Victor Hugo. Then later on, Sarah Bernard. A lot of artists, more modern in my days, of course, had supported this place. So we were going every weekend to a museum, to the theater, so I grew up artistically. I grew up with a lot of artistic forms offered to me. I started at 14-year-old doing collages, by the way. So that has always been something that I've enjoyed. I was born left-handed, which was a no-no in my days. So I couldn't quite make the best of learning with my mother because she could not stand this abnormality of mine. So so I didn't really learn. She would say, sit and watch. And in a sense, it was good because I translated that which was meant for me to do. It became my own signature to play with fabric and to create with fabric. I was seeing things totally differently than for stage or for dress up, which I did. I did some wearable art too and all this, but it's interesting to give life to a piece of fabric, to shape it into a face, into a body, into nature, I use colors that are already there and I create with them. And I like that you wrote this. I think Rebecca wrote this, like, I do not waste any little piece of fabric. Everything is used because some of them are very, very small. So my adventure with collage started with the fact that there was no left-handed scissors in my days, and I would have to hide to cut because I was raised in that boarding house for children of artists, but they send us out to school, to a religious school where, for religious reasons, a left-handed person was not welcome. So I had to hide to cut because I couldn't cut with the right hand. And that's how my taste for cutting free shapes and putting colors together started. I came to the United States at 26. I'm really a translator and I can, and I teach French too. So that's how I balance out my left brain and right brain functions. So I came here, yes, I was 26, so that's quite a long time ago. And I heard Rebecca talk about having lived in Indianapolis, so have I. That's where at first landed in San Francisco, and I'm like, ooh, if all the United States are like this, that's wonderful. And then I came to Indianapolis, and I couldn't see a lot of water, and everything was flat. But what a great place! What a great place to understand the American culture. I was very, very welcome there. I did a lot. I worked because my mother was a dancer, so I got some of that too, but I used it in the school system to teach folk dancing, because when I was at university in France, I studied international folk dancing, and I particularly developed an interest in French West Indian folk dancing, guoka, it's called. In Indianapolis, I went to school. There's a school called Heron Morton School of Design. Not that long, but enough to get started and to discover a technique that I'm still using, which is with fusible web. So when people tell me, oh, I don't see any glue showing, it's because the fabric is prepared ahead of time. And then it's heat fused behind, and after that I can cut. The material has more body when I can cut it with this glue behind it. So I'm telling you how I work with where I've been. I came to New York in 1987, upstate New York, and I've lived in Saratoga since 2000. So I was in Glens Falls, and then I came to Glens Falls, which also was a great place to keep growing as an artist. And then I came to Saratoga and really enjoying myself here with many, many artist friends and great museum like the Tang. I mean, you can only keep growing. Voila for now. So I see that slides are coming for me to keep talking about my work. Now you can see this was done in around 2015. So it's 10 years old probably now. It's old work. And a German lady bought this. And it's one of my favorite pieces because it's very luminous. And I was thinking art quilt. It's all quilted. Sometimes I quilt, sometimes I work on paper. And in that case, there's no sewing, but this is sewn. And it's probably 30 something, 35 by 40 in size. You can see the stitches. And I thought this one was particularly luminous and really invites you, especially at this time. It's a great way to start. Thank you, Rebecca, to start with this one because of the season we're entering. And we appreciate all the richness of these colors. So this is a detail and another detail, and you can see how I've danced with the colors and entered this. So what is wonderful when one likes a lot of details like I do is that whatever portion you would look at the work, it will invite you to enter another world. It will be always something else. There will always be something else to discover.
Francelise, there's so many different types of patterns here. Can you talk a little bit about where you get your materials from and how you decide to juxtapose them in such interesting ways with so many bold patterns? There's a way in which combining too many patterns can be chaotic for the eye, but when you do it, it all seems to flow together so beautifully. How do you achieve that?
Thank you. And maybe it's besides me because I do not have, there's a lot of things in life that can create fear in people, and that's not, I don't have any fear about that. Somehow in the psyche of an artist, wherever I have lived, I have been impressed, something in my memory, in my visual sensitivity. I've been conditioned by where I grew up. And certainly being in Paris, there's so much beauty. I mean, there's beauty everywhere, beauty in the street, the architecture, everything is enchanting. The colors are great. And my mother would have all this fabric and costume and this taste coming from a tropical area, which I only discovered when I was 23. That's the first time I went to the islands to see where she came from and to see the rest of my family there. The colors were there. So it's imprinted somewhere in me, and there is a boldness that I don't know it's boldness. To me, it's natural. So how I use the fabric, how I do the collages, I have a multitude of smaller pieces. It's called a fat quarter when you buy just little squares of fabric. I don't need to buy yards and yards because I'm only interested in how to use them, how to juxtapose them or to make them marry one another or have mediators. Sometimes the colors don't go together, and that's how I perceived it. So I would always have a color, a mediation, some kind of color in between that makes everything more interesting. And art is a way also to find, especially collages, it's a way to put a certain order in one's life. It's a way of seeking, for me, a certain harmony or a certain effect of surprise, a new way of looking at things. So I'm using fabric that are already printed, imprinted. So see how on the right of this piece, a shoulder is formed, rounded by probably designs of leaves. In the middle, there is a character there, a woman with a glow on her forehead, and she's also wearing somewhat of a crown, which is probably made of a fabric that had flowers, petals. So I can use a portion of a fabric and make it say something totally different, transport it from one culture to another. And that's what I do. I mix different fabrics. You can find a piece of African pagne, printed fabric there. You can find fabric from Eastern Europe, fabric from everywhere. My collection is international, and I used to have a lot of silks from India, from China, from different countries. And then I had a fire, and then I started to use other fabric, more cottons. But I have an enormous collection, which I classify by terms of colors. And I work owing to a mood or an impulse, something that comes through me. I want to see something in blue, and then I go for it. I want to see people in a vibrant exchange of whatever moment of their lives, and then I get going. So I need a lot of pieces in order to find what I need. And like a painter, if I need a shade or if I need something, then I have to keep looking for it. Most of the time, after so many years, when I work like this, it seems like it's not it's not difficult for me to put all this together in terms of the colors, I mean. But I never know what's going to come out. Like this is one of my favorite pieces. It's a very spiritual piece. I can see the oneness of people, really all together. And I can see how they're really looking at one another, which in our culture, in modern times, you don't find that. You have to have permission to put your hand on somebody's shoulders. You have to stand on your own a lot. And that's one of my yearnings, to feel that closeness. And it's easy for me to just let it express. So I have spent some years in Paris at at a lady's place. I was very, very, very young, but she was from Guyana, and she was mixed Chinese. So sometime in my work, there is some beautiful Asian flavor. There's something coming out. And she was a chef too. So she cooking was wonderful, and a refinement for the cooking. That's what stayed with me often when I do something. I know part of her aesthetic, part of her is there, because it's not just the Caribbean that you would see, or you'd see Paris. No, a lot of what I do seems to go back to ancient Caribbean cultures or African cultures.
Francelise, in this work and a couple of the others that we've seen so far, they're figures, and you mentioned the kind of desire for physical closeness, and you've done a lot of works with figures, the community gathering series and other works. Can you talk more about who these figures are, what they mean to you, what they represent for you?
Well, they know me more than I know them, because they come out when they're ready. And I don't know. Suddenly, this is what I'm doing. I feel that urge, and I'm doing it. So a lot of people have contributed to helping me be who I am now. Because my mother was traveling, she was entrusting me to different people. And I don't have like some people the sense of a tight, close-knit family. I don't have that. I have a sense of family at large, the world being my family. And it so happened that I left my country, if it's my country, so many years ago, and I'm living with people that I had to learn their language to communicate with them. So these figures that come, they're really my guides, my angel, my friends, my people from the village, where, if one looks at it this way, what if I had been already in those villages, in other dimensions, don't want to use cliches, but I say it feels like past life sometimes, because I don't know who they are, but at the same time recognize them. Sometimes I look at the figure and I say, oh, she looks like my godmother. Oh, this person has something very Asian, or and I retrace them that way. So who they are entities. They could be friends, they can be, but they know what they want, and they lead me. And lately, I feel like I would like to be able to reproduce them on a much larger scale, if I could. Voila. So this is in the same vein, this, the light coming through, the dark to me is not scary. Dark is comforting too. It's warm, and then the light in the middle is revealing. Sometime in compositions like that, you can hear music. That's what I'm seeing here. I see that I put a Eiffel Tower upside down. And the Eiffel Tower, to me, was I've never been on it, even though I lived there. I've never been interested in going so much up. I like my 18th district in Paris, walking on that hill, which is a long one to get to the Basilica. And that was enough height. Once you're up there, you can see a good portion of Paris. But I've never been, it would make me feel upside down. So that's what that represents here. This piece is made on a background fabric that's a decorator's fabric that I found, probably an outdoor. fabric. And I just love my favorite colors usually are blue, green, yellow. So that has this feeling of life, of being connected to nature. And you definitely have characters there, more abstracted, hidden in there, or just more playful, more free. This is when those shapes, I really like those shapes. They remind me of leaf shapes. They're about, they were what, 15 inches high. And they are mobiles. So those leaves, I made several of them, and they would hang at different heights on a nylon thread. There is a collage on top, and they're two-sided, even though they were 2D, but they were made in a way that they look like they're 3D. And as they move around, then you could see the back of them too. So I've done a whole series of that, and that I'm dreaming of making that bigger too, because I want to keep going. I just find this shape very, very close to nature, but very, very, I find it a certain elegance. And I'm thinking about sculptor who would make Henry Moore, yes, who would would sculpt women's body this way too. So that reminds me of this too, the fullness, the softness, the beauty. And this is work on paper. Since 2019, I've started an exploration coming back to paper, because my collages were at first on paper. And I don't know if I can also show you something while I know we're doing slides, but I have a piece right here.
Here,
Can
I'll
you see it
pause
like
the
that?
screen share. Yeah.
Sorry?
I paused the screen share so you can show.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you. So this piece here is my first larger piece. It was made in Paris. No, it was made in Nanterre, because I was going to the what's called the Red University in Nanterre, and in those days I was making collages with adhesive paper. You know, in the 70s, it was a fashion that some certain people, some homes, were put plastic in their kitchen or what have you. So I would see this and buy buy it and then draw. And we at the university, there were a lot of African students. So they would come and they criticize, no, this is not like that. You need this, you need to add this and that. So it was pretty good. And eventually I did this. So I gave this piece to a friend of mine that I had from Paris. And before she died, she gave it back. So I could show it to you today. So that represent houses on pilotis. Oh, is it in West Africa, Benin. Thank you. So so I went from plastic and then paper and then fabric. And now I'm back doing on small formats. I'm back working on paper, and this is very much an exploration of the world, of the planets. I was under this influence, this beautiful influence. So I try this, and you can find a lot of those smaller compositions, which I kind of gave for making them under the form of cards. Made me sell them at a very low price. It's as if I was really giving my work to the community. At one time, I needed a sense of healing that, I had a fire. Then after that, I had to move. There's been a lot of things that happen in life that every time I use art to bounce back. So I think I'm very fortunate that way that I could do this. I'm grateful for it. And this piece, I happen to have it. Yes. Oh yeah, I happen to have it here. But that slide is perfect. It's going to be the piece of a friend. She's going to pick it up soon, so I'm happy to see it. I wanted to say that sometime I mount my work on a canvas, and this is like all quilted, all sewn, little bitty pieces that form this. I think this piece is called Vortex Nouveau. So it's about energy, and energy when nature has given a lot, and it's autumn, and you can tell the light is changing, and the light is beautiful, and the dark green, and the very tired green of the end of summer, when the trees are, they've had it, they're ready to rest. So that piece is mounted on a corduroy, which has been um, dyed. I bought it like this. I usually take what I find. I don't really transform it except with my scissors. Between the legs of my scissors, everything changes. Voila. This piece is pretty large, was purchased by a lady of the Women's League voters. Anyway, I might have said it in the wrong order, but Women Voter Leagues of Voter.
League of Women Voters.
Thank you, thank you. So that piece represented very much Saratoga, believe it or not. I'm always feeling the presence of Native Americans in here. To me, it's a city of sacred waters, and we don't think about it anymore that much. Some of us, and you see the horse. Of course, I'm thinking of free horses, not the one that are used for exchanging tons of money. But I'm not criticizing. Everybody's doing what they need to do for themselves at that point. There's music. There is the healing qualities of water, beautiful homes, nature, and a certain feeling of La La Land also. Like not much else exists but what's going on here. But this piece, okay, okay. So this is not a very, very big piece. It's the same size as the one I'm holding in my hands right now. You see, it's a bit bigger than my face here. So this piece was about keeping it green, is what I called it. And if it's round, then I'm really representing the earth and the cycle, what we do, the describe, our ability to keep water and vegetal and everything alive and well, and whatever is in water. So all those shapes are flowing, and a lot of my circles are about going around and around, and till you get to the center, or till you out, or finding a certain type of boundaries. All of this is there, and this one is really very luminous. It wants us to enjoy outdoors. It's an outdoor feeling. Thank you. So you had seen the leaf-shaped mobile that I did, and then I also, in the around 2015, did a lot of mobiles. And again, it's not 3D. When you turn it, there's another one behind, but it's flat. So what I'm doing now is this. You see this piece right here. So now I'm really, really making can you see it? Rebecca, oh, thank you. Voilà. So now what I'm enjoying is really making mobile that are 3-dimensional also like that, like dancers. And we had a wonderful time at the Tang doing this free to fly, a workshop for Francis's Day. And more of those pieces, and a lot of circles. And here's a
I was
picture of
just skipping to the mobile, making a little.
but that's great. That was the time that was to prepare the workshop, and it was really so much fun. Mhm. So we worked with papers, we worked with fabric, we worked with tulle. This is a large piece again, and I'm connected to nature in a very also a romantic way. It's not like I'm really good at going camping and sleeping in the woods. I'm scared of ticks and all that. But I'm always seeing all of this. Also because in my I'm fascinated by nature, its beauty, its mystery, its and its sufferings too. So I'm connected to people who knew so much about herbs in the islands, and they had the reputation of helping people heal. So I think it's in my psyche. If it's true that everything gets imprinted in us some kind of way, it's passed down by the mother, the father, whatever. We have those things in us, and I see my daughter is very connected to she really grows things and knows all about plants. It skipped me. I'm only doing it in collages. Yeah, this piece is was built to feel totally 3D, but it's because I like my pieces to look like a painting. But really, once you do a piece with fabric, it's so present, it's so warm, there's something that I really like. And people ask me, why don't you do the same thing with painting with a brush? Well, I don't feel it because I'm totally conditioned with my scissors and the fabric. That's where I'm happy, and that's how I do it. So once in a while I do watercolors, but I'm not really that interested in any of that. There's something that yet remains to be discovered, and it's usually what you see in the center, waters, something, a place to plunge in and more to discover. So that's how I look at my adventure with the textile collages.
Francelise, we have quite a few questions coming in, and
Thank you.
the first one and a few of them relate to technique, how the kind of technical ways that you actually make these. So that seems like a great place to start. I know you have some props at the ready to show everyone.
Yes. So I can show you. Maybe I should wait for the question first. What's the
Well, there's various questions about technique, so I think we should just
So
dive in and we'll
Can I
see
go?
what we
Because I don't.
cover.
So you want me to just go ahead and?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So you see, I'm buying my glue. This is glue that I'm showing you on rolls, on big rolls, and it's called Wonder Under. So we are. So I'm making publicity for something, I suppose, but this is not TV, right? So I'm going to show you how the glue. If you don't know that, it's called fusible web, and I use an iron. My work looks very domestic because I'm using an iron, but it's to do art with. Voila. So now I've cut a piece of paper. Oh, that's it. I've cut a piece of paper, and you see this glue is right behind the paper, right there. So I will take a piece of fabric and I would apply behind this fabric the glue, making sure that glue side is on the underside of the fabric. And when I press, and when I take a hot iron, the paper helps, because it's going to isolate, not burn anything, but don't put your hand underneath because you need a very, very hot iron. So you would press, let me see if you could see what I'm doing here. Could you see it now? You press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. If you can count in French, it's better, or in whatever language you're learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you move like this. So it's not like when you're pressing your clothes. That's the point I'm making. And after this has taken place, don't put your hand on it, you wait, and you have two things that you can use. You could use scissors, or first, let's say that you're going to draw something. Okay, you draw something, and it helps with the paper. So voila, you're going to see me cut with my left hand. Do you know that somebody once came to me and said to me, "You did all this with your left hand?" That was so cute. Voila. Yeah, because for some people, it's not possible. Voila, so I've cut a shape. I can do much better, but I'm not going to take time to do that. I cut a shape, and after that, I could put it on a background. So let's say that I would put it on something like that, but I cannot put it if I keep the paper. So I've got to take off the paper. I go like this. Sometimes I use a needle to slash the paper if it's glued too tightly. And I peel off that paper. And the glue is behind there. So all I have to do now is to apply it to the surface that I'm going to be composing on, and then with the iron, press. So every piece that I put on, I'll press. Sometimes not longly, because I'm not sure. What if I want to change my mind? So I pay attention not to do that. But if you use, so you'd have to use thin cotton. You can't really do this with thick wool. You're going to have to use your other craft glue gun and all that. So this, I like it because it's very clean. It doesn't leave any residue or anything. And I can do this work anywhere. I don't scare anybody that I'm going to damage their place because it's fairly aesthetic and clean. There's no problem. So, oh, there's something in there. Okay, so after having done that, then you keep going. Let's say there's another piece, another color. You keep building. And that's not how I start though, right? I was just showing you how to cut. I start with a background. I cover the background, sometime with something a little bit less present. Looks like I didn't take time to really bring a very neutral fabric. But let's say that this is what I would put in the back. And not that I would do this, but at least you can see another heart. And I will build from what it is that I put under there. So the background is really going to condition that which I'm going to create. So you have many ways of doing work, obviously. We can do work from a mood. Oh, I feel like doing that. We could plan, and this is a technique that's easy in itself, and you can really plan work, because if you don't like what you do, but you could keep using fabric on top if you don't like it. Sometimes I have two colors that I don't really, I think one blocks the other or something. It doesn't work. And I had said that earlier, I put something in the middle to mediate that. And that's how a lot of, you have to have a sixth sense for that. You have to feel that, or maybe be conditioned. So here is a piece that I'm working on right now. So it was a big block. So this is on paper. This is on cardstock. So this is
Does
a
the
color that's very
technique,
present. Sorry, I'm sorry.
does the glue technique you're using, does it work just the same on cardstock as it does on fabric? Does it work better on one or the other, or it just kind of
It works
works?
better. It works even better on the cardstock. So what happened is that if I have a hard surface, I do not have to sew anything, it's going to stay. And believe me, I've done that for so many years. I've never met anybody telling me, "Oh, your piece fell apart." You know, it stays forever. And now the thinner the fabric, the more it adheres. Like I could not peel that off. There is no way, you know. So I started off by three big blocks. There's a dark block here, and another block here, and one here, and then I start adding, and the smaller pieces or the more contrasted are the last one that I put on. So this,
Somebody asked if you need to do anything to prevent the fabric from unraveling, but you just snip, snip,
yeah,
snip, and
good
it
question.
stays, right?
Good question. That's the beauty of that glue. You see, it could, if I pull this, I would have something. But basically, before applying, if I don't like threads, sometimes threads are great to show, sometimes depends what you're doing. This is not going to move. That's the beauty of that technique. You're not going to have a problem with that. The glue holds all the fibers together. And if you really press long enough, as I said, the 10 seconds, then you will not have a surprise as if coming apart.
Somebody also asked about how you handle silks and if you've changed the way you cut silks at all, especially the very tiny cuts, just how you get those really tiny pieces of fabric to do what you want, I guess that's the question.
Yes, well, the silk is wonderful with the glue behind. Sometimes I'm even using a little transparent, fabric, and it's the best. It's the best. The worst is the synthetic because they can burn. But the silk is pretty resistant,
Mm.
and you cannot separate it from the background after. That's another thing, because it's so thin, it totally embraces the surface. So no, silk is great. Okay, we have several kinds of silks, of course, I'm not talking about raw silk that's thick.
Mhm.
So that better sew that. But very thin one, wood, Japanese silk, very, very, very beautiful thin one. That's the one that will stay for sure forever.
And a couple of people are asking about the brand that you used. Did you say you used a Wonder Under? Was that the name
Yes,
of
it's
the?
called Wonder Under. It's from Pelen. And frankly, you can find that anywhere. You can find that in big surfaces. Now we don't have but here in our area, if the people who are watching this are all from the area, go to Casey Framing, because this lady is holding the fort after all the big places closed, and
It looks
she
like we have
has.
people from all over the world signed in, Finland
Okay,
and
okay, okay.
Argentina and across
Oh,
the US.
fantastic, fantastic.
And
Muchas gracias.
someone has made a comment in French, which I, as you know,
Ah,
cannot
okay.
translate for you, but I can
Can
send
I
it to
see
you
it,
after.
or because I
If
can?
you open that chat button and scroll up, Paulina wrote in French to you. There's
Nina.
a merci, which is the word I recognize in that
Ah,
comment.
so Oh, so there's quite a lot. I would have to.
Yes. Yeah, you
Oh
have
yeah,
to.
yeah. Okay, too bad I won't. I don't know if I'll find. Oh, it's moving by itself. You're making it move. That's good.
No, I'm
Oh
not.
no, okay, because I'm not too good at any of that. All right. So okay, so I see question like Bond Web in the UK. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the name of the brand is. What's important is to get the very thin one, not the plasticky thick one. I don't like it, but that's you choose what you like. But in this one, look, I did see it, but I did show it, but I'm going to show it again. It's very, very light, very transparent, very like tulle practically, right? So so that's a good one to have. And in the United States, it's called it's Pellon, the brand, Pellon.
Paulina translated her comment in French so I could read it to you. And she said, I never thought to draw on thermo. Thank you for sharing.
Ah, super. Eh bien, je suis très contente et j'espère que vous allez faire beaucoup, beaucoup de collages avec cette technique. I said, I'm very happy to hear that, and I hope you're going to make many collages with this technique.
Yes, there's lots of comments of people talking about how beautiful your work is and how much they love the colors and the stories behind what you told and everything. So
That
yes,
touches me.
sending a
Thank
lot
you.
of love to you in these chats here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a wonderful way to feel it, to receive it, and to know that
Yeah.
there is a reason why we hang in there doing this.
Is that another very recent one that you're
Yes,
working
that's a
on?
recent one. This one is a funny one. I don't know what
Yes.
happened to me. I just could not stop weaving them into this nature, So that's what's going on here. Probably two ladies having done their market because I see bread, I see I see veggies,
And what do they have
corn.
for heads? Is that some sort of
That
acorn
was
or
that was a
nature?
snail.
A snail.
Yes, that
Okay.
was a fabric, and I'm like, oh, that looks like two ladies with with either a hat or chignon.
Uh-huh.
The but what surprised me here is that I kept encircling them in there. So, and I suppose it's finished now, but I
Yeah.
just couldn't stop, and that was fun to me to do. I guess it was meaningful. I don't know.
We have a couple more questions that came in. Somebody asked, what has inspired you to move between fabric and paper backgrounds? The choice, and a few other questions were around the choices you make, how you determine what background to use.
What background? Okay, so if I want to, I'm going to address the background question. If I want to work with something that I want very powerful, luminous, and jumping out of the image, then I'm going to choose a darker background. Let me pick up something that I have here. I brought another piece that fell here. So the background is very important. Now, if I want contrast, you just have to decide what it is that you want ahead of time. So if it's a matter of if it's playing with shapes, those are negative shapes that I cut or that I didn't cut, that I took from. I was playing with a symbol that a friend asked me to do, which is called the ankh, or maybe people pronounce the ankh, I'm not sure, the ankh. It's a beautiful shape, and it's a spiritual entity, I would say. And this started to come out pretty strongly. So you decide. I wanted the light to be in the background this time, and all the shapes to dance against it. So if you want the contrary, then you have something super light in the back or something super dark, and you create a contrast. Sometimes you don't want contrast. Sometimes you want everything to be tight. Sometimes people ask me to make to do a collage. So that's something that you can do. See, this is a sketchbook,
Mm.
and a friend asked me because she looks at shapes like that. It inspires her. It's totally abstract and going in many directions. It seems like there is some Matisse figure dancing here, and then it adheres really well to that kind of paper. So here the background is totally black. It's a black book, and I put whatever color I felt like. And the other question was the
I,
paper,
I,
the
I
paper
think you're,
versus
yeah,
fabric.
yeah.
Well, you work totally different with paper and fabric, and anytime you discover a new tool, you want to play, you know? And I discovered a lot of those shapes that, a circle has to be perfect. So if I work on a 5x7 surface and I have, like you showed those circles, they're all done with and I couldn't do this for fabric. So therefore, I did them in paper. But in those cards, which for people who live in Saratoga and who are listening, you can find them at Tea and Honey. And they've been carrying them for me since 2019. I think I made about 1,000 now. And it's wonderful practice. And try both, I mean, if you're using fabric on paper, you have to make sure your card stock is at least 140 pounds.
Mm.
When you buy paper, it's written the thickness of the paper. So 140 pounds so that it doesn't undulate and get distorted. So that's one thing. So it's a different way of working with paper. And now I'm not using fusible web for the paper.
Mhm.
I'm actually using acid-free glue,
Mm.
and it's a mess. I don't really like it, but it works.
Well, it is 2 minutes to 3 already. And
Oh,
so I think we got to at least most of the questions. Sorry if I missed anybody else's question, but the chat will be on YouTube after. And Francelise, is there anything else you want to say before we close out about your work or anything?
maybe let me see what comes. But I do want to say quickly that I'm very grateful for the interest, in my work. Thank you. And I want to say that I like fabric. I like being a textile artist. Textile being, everybody's been saying that before. Now I know that. We were born in that fabric. We were wrapped in fabric. Fabric is soft. Fabric is comforting. Fabric is energizing. I have cried and blowed my nose in handkerchiefs made of fine cotton. I've gone dancing and dried myself too. So it's all natural. It's all wonderful, and uh, and there are so many beautiful prints in the world. You can print your own. I choose to just use what I find, not to create more. I just create from what life gives me, basically, which is my philosophy too. So um, the adventure goes on, and I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Voila.
Voilà. Merci, gracias, and
Thank
thank
you
you.
everyone for coming.
All right.
Merci.
Voilà.